Hello, Chem 1. Today is the last day of Unit 13, Solutions. We're going to take a look at a few specific types of solutions known as acids and bases. Let's get started. Let's start with acids. We've already done naming acids in this class, and so you should know that acids will produce H plus cations when they're put in solution. That H plus ion typically will combine with a water molecule when dissolved and will form something called a hydronium ion, or H3O plus. Acids have a pH that's lower than 7, they taste sour, and they feel like water. We can determine if something's an acid or a base using indicators like litmus paper and phenolphthalein. Acids will turn litmus paper red and will stay clear in the presence of phenolphthalein. If you mix acid and base together, you'll form a neutral solution with water and a salt. That salt will come from the anion of the acid and the cation of the base. And finally, acids can be monoprotic, diprotic, or triprotic based on how many hydrogens are present. Common acids are hydrochloric, nitric, and sulfuric, which can be seen here at the bottom of this slide. Now let's take a look at bases. Bases form an OH negative ion when put in solution. Bases are going to have a pH over 7. They'll typically taste bitter and they'll feel slippery. Many soaps and detergents are bases and they feel slippery in between your fingers. Bases will turn litmus paper blue and they'll turn phenolphthalein bright pink. Some of the more common bases are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and magnesium hydroxide. Baking soda or sodium bicarbonate is used in baking, and that's a base, as well as antacids, which have calcium hydroxide in them that help neutralize stomach acid. So if we mix an acid and a base together, we typically can neutralize or get a solution that's close to neutral. Why is this? It's because the H plus ion from the acid will combine with the OH negative ion from the base and give us HOH, or H2O. This is why water on the pH scale is exactly 7, which is neutral. Now let's take a look at the difference between a strong acid, a weak acid, and a strong base and a weak base. Whether an acid is strong or weak is based on how much it will disassociate or break into its cation and anion while in solution. Strong acids will disassociate completely. There are 7 strong acids and they're listed below. Hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic, nitric acid, sulfuric, among others, are the strong acids. You can see we can write an equation that shows the dissociation of breaking up into the cation and anion. A weak acid will then only partially dissociate. This means that some of those cation-anion pairs will actually stay together in solution, while other cations and anions, less than 15%, will separate from one another. Acetic acid, which is vinegar, oxalic acid, and phosphoric acid, would be examples of weak acids. You can still write the equation for them dissociating, just understand that some of those particles will remain as a molecule when in solution. A strong base will dissociate 100% of the time. There are 8 strong bases, and you can see here that most elements in the first 2 columns, when used as a cation for a hydroxide anion, will become a strong base. And you can see the dissociation of those bases below. A weak base then would only partially dissociate. Ammonia is a common weak base, and ammonium hydroxide is another. One of the constants that's really important for us while we're discussing acids and bases is the constant of the ionization of water, which is known as Kw. Water does have a very, very low ability to ionize or break back apart into the H plus and OH negative ions. What we can do is use the ionization of water as a constant, Kw, and we can set that equal to the concentration of hydrogen ions times the concentration of OH negative ions, and that should equal the constant or degree to which a solution forms ions. So what this means is that the concentration of H plus ions times the concentration of OH negative ions should be able to be multiplied together to get Kw, which is 1 times 10 to the negative 14th. Anytime the coefficient of the H plus ion or the OH negative ions is 1, the exponents should add to equal negative 14. If the coefficients do not equal 1, let's say there were 2 or 3, then the exponents should add together to equal negative 15. We'll explore this more as we do some example problems. All right, so let's take a look at some problems. This wants us to figure out the concentration of OH, knowing that the concentration of H plus is 1 times 10 to the negative 9. I know that if I multiply H plus and OH negative together, I should get 1 times 10 to the 14. So that means 1 times 10 to the 9th times something, which is the concentration of H plus, it should equal 1 times 10 to the negative 14. If you know your scientific multiplication rules, you'll know that those exponents have to add together to equal 14, meaning that the concentration of H plus has to be 1 times 10 to the negative 5th, because negative 5 and negative 9 add together to equal negative 14. This only works when there's a 1 in the coefficient position. Here's another example. We have 2 times 10 to the negative 4th, and it's asking what is the concentration of OH negative. In this case, we do not have a 1 in the coefficient position. That means the coefficients are going to add together to form negative 15. This would be 10 to the negative 4th, and therefore this would have to be 5 times 10 to the negative 11th. You can put this into your calculator as 2e to the negative 4th times x equals 1 times 10 to the negative 14th. So you would divide 1 times 10 to the negative 14th by 2 times 10 to the negative 4th, and you'd get 5 times 10 to the negative 11th. This next problem is very similar. Set it up knowing that the concentration of H plus times the concentration of OH negative is going to equal the Kw, which is 1 times 10 to the negative 14th. This last one is a little different. What I would advise you to do, anytime you get a molarity like this, it's giving you the concentration of this strong acid. We can actually convert 6.0 molar to 6.0 times 10 to the 0, because that's the concentration in scientific notation. Then we would just do our problem and we would come out with 1.7 times 10 to the negative 15th. Remember, the H plus ions times the OH negative ions should multiply together should equal 1 times 10 to the negative 14. So if they are equal, that means they're both 1 times 10 to the negative 7. So now that we know how to calculate the concentration of H plus ions and OH negative ions, how do we apply those concentrations to pH? pH is the power of hydrogen in a solution. So if we know the H plus, that means we can easily determine the pH from that. So if the coefficient is 1, then the pH is just the power. So if you have something that's 1 times 10 to the negative 7th, that means the pH is 7. If the H plus concentration is not 1, that means the pH power is that minus 1. So if you have 2 times 10 to the negative 7th, that means the pH will be 6, because it's 1 minus 7. Also remember, if you're given the molarity of a strong acid, you can just turn that into scientific notation to figure out the pH. You've probably heard of the scale for pH, but you probably haven't heard the scale of pOH. pH is the power of hydrogen in solution. pOH is the power of the hydroxide in a solution. And pH and pOH should be added together to equal 14. They're both telling whether something is acidic and basic, but just from a different perspective. One from the perspective of hydrogen ion, and the other from the perspective of an OH negative ion. So these are the equations on your equation sheet. First one, pH and pOH will always add up to equal 14. In order to find the pH, we can do a negative log of the H plus concentration. And in order to find the H plus concentration, we can take 10 to the negative pH, and that will tell us how much H plus ion we have. And then you can see over here that we can do the exact same thing with pOH. Let's use some of these equations in some example problems. We can do these problems in our head and use a calculator to check. If I have a 1 molar solution of a strong acid, the first thing I want to do is convert that into scientific notation. So 1 molar would be 1.0 times 10 to the 0 power. That's the concentration of my H plus ion. And since it's a 1 in the coefficient position, I know the pH is whatever the exponent is, which is 0. So the pH of this substance is 0. If I look at this next substance, it would be 1 times 10 to the negative 1, because we've moved over a decimal place, which means the pH is 1. If I do 1 times 10 to the negative 2, that means the pH is 2. And you would be able at this point to work your way down. You can see that every time we move a decimal place, the pH goes up by 1. And this is an important thing to understand about pH. The difference between 1 and 2 is a power of 10, and the difference between 2 and 3 is another power of 10. This means something with a pH of 2 is 100 times more concentrated than something with a pH of 4, because it's 2 powers of 10. We can also calculate the pH from these numbers. The equation you'd look for here is pH equals the negative log of the concentration of H plus ion. So for this one, we get a pH of 9.7. This makes sense because we can see that our exponent is negative 10, which means the pH should be around 10. The pH here is 2.3. And then for this next one, we're going to make sure we convert this to scientific notation. So our concentration would be 1.5 times 10 to the negative 1. If we work this out, we would see that our pH would be 0.82. And since pH plus pOH equals 14, we know that our pOH would have to equal 13.18. This last one is a very concentrated acid, 6 molar. If we punch this in, we will actually get a negative pH, which is possible. Remember, the pH scale is all based on the power of 10s, so if something gets concentrated enough with H plus ion, it will become a negative pH. For this next one, it says determine the pH of 0.1 molar of NaOH. So 0.1 molar of NaOH is 1.0 times 10 to the negative 1. But this is asking for pH, but it gave me a strong base. So that means that this is actually the OH negative concentration, but that's okay. If we type this in and solve for pOH, we will see that the pOH equals 1. And remember, the pOH plus the pH should equal 14. So in this case, the pH would equal 13, because 13 plus 1 is 14. So if you're given a strong base or a concentration of the OH negative ion, you can still calculate the pH from that. On this last slide, it's just asking us to find the concentration of H plus and OH negative. Remember that if you have a pH of 6, that the concentration will be 1 times 10 to the negative 6. And that means the OH concentration will be 1 times 10 to the negative 8, because the exponents of H plus concentration and OH negative concentration should add up to 14. So this next one would be times 10 to the negative 10, which means the OH negative concentration would be 1 times 10 to the negative 4. If we get a number that's not a whole number, we can still take 10 and multiply by the negative pH, which is negative 7.9. If you work that out, you will see the concentration is 1.26 times 10 to the negative 8. We could then use that number to calculate how much the concentration of the OH negative ion. There's quite a bit to know when it comes to acids and bases, and there's lots of math involved too in order to get from concentration of H plus and OH negative ions to pH and pOH. I would bring you back to these equations and just make sure that you know how to use them given the different types of word problems you're going to see. Take a look at these in the activity today, work through them, and ask me questions if you have them. Keep working hard. We'll see you soon.